Andy and I will be right back. Hello and welcome to the first round of the night. Steve Menendian is playing Flash Rector. Oh, good Lord. This should be fun. David Williams on the Matt Sperling special, similar to the deck we saw Eric Froelich go 2-1 with last week. Matt Sperling's just been crushing it in the leagues and also in the Power 9 Challenge.
Yeah, so cool to see this deck list come into fruition here. It's been a long time since we've seen Fish do well.
Interesting. So, how long since you've seen Flash Rector do well?
Well, I be true, Tom Metelsky actually won a Power 9 challenge, I believe, about a month ago with Flash Rector. So preceding that, though, it's been an awful long time. Yourself?
Yeah, no, I feel like I haven't seen this deck in years. Meanwhile, any deck with Ancestral Recall is pretty happy to get it on the draw. Looks like Steve could have gotten away with a main phase Ancestral since he drew Black Lotus, but he didn't want to risk having to discard, so he waited for Dave's upkeep. And now, man, I see Show and Tell, but I don't know that Steve has anything to show down. There's one card off screen we can't see yet.
Yeah, I was going to say it'll be interesting because David Bowie here or Thalia is going to cause some problems here for Steve.
Yeah, good point. Spirit of the Labyrinth is great. Thalia is great. I don't know which one Williams is going to lead with. He doesn't really know much yet, right? All he's seen is an Underground and an Ancestral.
I think you got to lead with Thalia here personally, but
that is exactly what David does.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Steve's got hoping to maybe draw a land off the top here, or a creature for that Show and Tell.
Yeah, Delta, he could pay 1 for Lotus and then pay 4 for Show and Tell. Wow, he drew a Flash. Is that his whole hand? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's all 9 cards. So there's nothing to show down, and there's nothing to flash out. He's drawn half of all the combos. Obviously, if you flash out Academy Rector, you can then search your library for any enchantment. He's got Omniscience, probably. He's got Yawgmoth's Bargain, almost certainly.
Yeah, I don't think Bargain would be that great here in this situation.
Not versus Thalia.
Yeah. So Omni, though, would give him a great shot at winning this game for sure.
Basically beats the Thalia.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. His Mystical Tutor is his deck manipulation, though, which doesn't actually do much. It doesn't get... What combo half does he get? He's already got all the instants and sorceries in his hand.
Perhaps maybe a balance?
Yeah, oh, that's not bad.
No, it's only... Yeah, it is instant or sorcery. Yeah, so balance could do some damage here for sure. But yeah, it doesn't seem very good right now.
Is he just going to settle for 2 mana Preordain?
Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah, Thalia doing work. He had to choose 2 mana Preordain or 2 mana Divining Top, and meanwhile Black Lotus is still kind of stuck in his hand.
Yeah, well, it's actually a pretty good play from Steve because had that been David, he doesn't know David Bowie's coming down next turn. Preordain's not going to look very good. So it was
David Bowie being the Spirit of the Labyrinth, for those who don't know Rich Shea's pet nickname.
Yeah.
Winds up with an Underground Sea, and you know what? He's going to be stuck discarding anyway, even after waiting on that Ancestral. Mental Misstep hits the pin.
Yeah, Misstep's not very good in this match anyways.
Yeah, and seeing Thalia off a Bayou, he pretty much he's got a suspected Sperling's deck. He also knows Dave and Matt are friends. So he's probably got the list narrowed down to something pretty close to what David's actually on at this point.
Yeah.
There is
of note here. Yeah. So let's say hypothetically he picks the Rector up off the top and he flashes that in, there's a chance here that Dave, if he's got his mana untapped, is going to be able to STP it in response, which would be not very good.
Well, Steve has this turn. Dryad Arbor's got Summoning Sickness.
Yeah.
Dig Through Time. That is not going to get it done. You saw Steve pause in his upkeep trying to figure out if there's anything he can Mystical Tutor for. Not really. This is probably just Lotus Divining Top, pass the turn, cross your fingers, hope more bad things don't happen. Yeah,
so does Dave here Abrupt Decay the Lotus and just keep the pressure up on the board here, or does he extend himself more?
I don't know.
Because he does have that Thalia.
Steve left up 2 mana instead of casting Divining Top. Maybe he's going to tutor end step.
Yeah, so he's definitely going to go that route. Be interesting to see, because I'm calling the balance here, Randy.
Oh, you think this is mystical for balance?
I would think so. I'm having difficulty thinking of a card here that's going to come in and impact the board here significantly. You can't draw an extra card.
I see your point. The question is, does Steve have a balance in his main deck? Like, I agree with you. If that's like a wish and he can just go search his entire collection, the card he wants here is probably balance.
How about a Massacre?
There's no way he's going to Massacre in his main deck, but I look at Steve, you're right. If he's searching his entire collection, Massacre's even better.
Steve was talking a big game earlier. Maybe he'll surprise us with a Massacre. Yeah. So this is actually going to be the pivotal turn for Steve. He's on a pretty significant clock here. He needs to do something now.
Yep.
I mean, certainly not over, but he's got to do something here.
I think if I'm Williams, I'd just leave up Abrupt Decay, right? It doesn't change his clock to play the Spirit. You could consider Abrupt Decay pointed at Lotus, but then you're tapped out, so looks like
he would want to do it right now. You don't want Steve on tapping with the Lotus.
Well, he might think that there's going to be some other target that he cares more about.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Of course I'm seeing the hand here, but I'd be all over that Lotus.
Right. We're in end step now. So Dave shipped the turn. He was willing to let Steve untap with the Black Lotus. I don't know if that's right or not. I kind of do see your point. Well, maybe Steve's got a mystical here. It's just a question of what he's going for, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely going to... It doesn't make sense otherwise, unless he was just holding up a bluff, which doesn't seem very good. I think it's got Ancestral.
Mystical for Vampiric Tutor and then Vampiric for Rector?
It does work.
Super painful.
Except for that STP is going to make it more painful.
Wow, so if you flash out the Rector, Williams gets to plow it before it dies to the flash effect, huh?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I believe it has to go to the graveyard, the Rector, in order to make it work. I don't think it's leave play, but I'm not 100% sure about that.
I agree with you, but I am also not 100% sure. I think you're right.
But if that's not the case, I mean, that would be pretty sweet for Steve if he can pull that off.
Oh, can Steve dig here? He can make 5 mana, and he's got 4 in the yard, so he can tap out to sack the Lotus, tap out, dig through time.
Yeah, that's true. Another line there for
Black Lotus, though.
Yeah.
If he was able to successfully flash Rector for Omniscience, he's still just going to die to the creature beats, isn't he? No, I guess he flash Rectors. Maybe he gets a block in with the Rector. He takes 6 to 5. He gets to untap with an Omniscience in play.
Yeah, but so if he did that and then he casts the Omniscience, how many mana is he left over? Because in order to cast any spell in his hand, he still has to pay 1 with the Omniscience for the Thalia.
Is that right? Omniscience doesn't beat Thalia. Thalia beats Omniscience.
Nope. You've got to pay the tax. It's much like with the Sphere of Resistance in play. You still have to pay the tax. So that will kill Steve. Yeah, even with Omniscience. You don't pay a casting cost for the spells off of Omniscience. It's not doesn't negate the tax. So yeah, Steve would be in trouble with that. So this is do or die here. Okay.
I'm on. He does not have a balance in his deck, because if he had a balance in his deck, I don't think he would have gone in the tank for that long.
It seems like a reasonable balance deck to me.
I'm not. I bet there's one in the sideboard, but like, how often do you see balance in main decks nowadays?
I know some of the Xerox is one of them.
Deck.
Yeah, that's true. It's an absolute beating against my deck, unless I got hangerback walkers. Yeah, I think balance would be his best pull here. As you said, Vampiric Tutor would be good. Demonic Tutor is a little bit clunky because that'll cost him his whole Lotus. But he could still actually flash Randy if he gets Demonic here as well.
That's true. He could Mystical for Demonic, Demonic for Omniscience, Flash, or Demonic for Rector, Flash, but then he's tapped out. And like you said, he still has to pay his taxes.
Yeah. But I guess the hope is that I don't think that Dave's going to be able to kill him this next turn. And that means that he's going to be able to untap with 3 mana, potentially, which is a fair chunk, right? He's going to cast his Yogg Will for 1. He can Ancestral for 1. He can play a land out of his graveyard. And if he finds a creature, it's over right there. So Steve is actually, if he can pull this line off right now, I think he's heavily favored to win.
This is what I thought was going on. Williams saw Menendian go that far in the tank, finally came up for air, and Dave's like, look, I'm just going to Abrupt Decay the Lotus. He's changed his mind. He shipped the turn to Steve. He got Steve to use his Mystical, make a plan, and now here comes the Abrupt Decay during Dave's own end step.
Great line.
Does Dig work? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yes, it does. Yeah, 9.
Wow.
So that actually is an advantage Steve there. That's pretty huge.
Crazy.
And now, if he can find the Rector, he is in pretty good shape. If he can find a land and a Rector here, or God forbid it's Grizzlebrand or something.
I guess this was always true. Steve was always going to get to dig his response to Abrupt Decay, right? Because if Dave had opened with Abrupt Decay,
yep.
Okay, Rector was the card he put on top. We can see that. And now we get to see what he's going to take from Dig Through Time. He probably still has to take the Rector. He's just down 3 mana. Maybe DT?
Yeah, I think Demonic Tutor is your best bet here. For sure, because that gives you some level of resilience. And I mean, he's going to get that Rector into play here. And so yep. Omniscience is just the pick. And if he untaps with that Demonic Tutor, that's game.
It's a 1-mana Demonic Tutor, but that should be plenty.
Yeah.
Yogg Will.
Because I think, Randy, the main kill condition here is the Bargain and Omniscience into Emrakul. Yeah?
Makes sense.
So Emrakul will just end this game. Like, that would wipe Dave's board out right now.
God, Abrupt Decay to Lotus seemed like such a good play from Dave, and he's going to get destroyed by it, isn't he? Because he no longer has Swords to Plowshares up. So part of it depends whether Menendian flashes main phase or whether he waits to try to sneak in a block. Because he has to tap out for the Rector.
If the problem with it is Steve's going to get burned by his Swords to Plowshares. If he gets greedy and tries to get a block, it's a huge blowout. And yeah,
I think it's probably the difference between winning and losing is whether Steve does this main phase or whether he passes the turn.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, I really liked Dave's Abrupt Decay on that Lotus without the information of him knowing that the DT was there, or the Dig Through Time. I thought it was a good line, too.
I liked it. It didn't work.
No. I mean, I don't think he could have got punished any worse than he did there.
Yeah, and you can look at that Academy Rector in Steve's hand. You can read it's when Academy Rector dies. Dies means goes to the graveyard from play. If Dave had 3 mana untapped and could point Swords to Plowshares at that Academy Rector, it would not trigger, and Steve would not get to go get an enchantment. Steve, out of fear of Swords to Plowshares, is just going to flash out this Rector main phase, and that means it's going to die.
Yep, pretty huge. I mean, Thalia's holding her weight in gold right now. There's no doubt about that. But
does it die to flash during the spell? My apologies. Swords doesn't work anyway.
It doesn't work?
No, there's no window where you get to Swords. I trust the folks in chat who are yelling at me right now. Flash.
All right.
You sacrifice it during the resolution of the flash if you don't pay the mana cost.
Okay.
So
there you go.
Swords to Plowshares does not beat Flash. I haven't seen Flash actually played in a while. My apologies. Steve,
I don't think anybody has.
So Steve gets to use his Flash. He gets to put an Omniscience into play. Then he ships the turn. And now Williams is going to disrupt him as much as he can. Thalia's still good here. Spirit of the Labyrinth is still relevant.
Well, the game's actually over because what Steve's going to do when he untaps is he's going to pay 1 for Jace the Mind Sculptor. He's going to bounce the Thalia, and then he's going to be able to Demonic Tutor for free, and then he's going to be able to cast an Emrakul. It just ends the game. That's the line I would take here.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the composition of Steve's deck, but if he's running Emrakul in this deck, it should be over. Unfortunately, Bargain going for Bargain here with Demonic Tutor is really terrible because he's only going to get to draw 4 cards. But
I don't think David did anything wrong. I feel like there was nothing David could do. Abrupt Decaying the Lotus was the one decision point. We got ourselves distracted thinking the Swords to Plowshares was relevant, but it's just not. Menendian just had just enough to be able to play through a Thalia and a Spirit.
Yeah, I mean, let's see if he sees the line here, but I think this is over. I'll be honest, that's a little bit of a closer game than I thought it would be. I thought
in which direction?
I thought Steve would run away with this. I thought the White Weenies just don't even compare on the broken scale, despite Bowie and Thalia being quite good.
They are quite hateful.
They are quite hateful. That's fair. But I would have given advantage to Steve on this, particularly being on the play is huge.
All right. Menendian back in the tank again. I'm not sure how much he has to think about here. What is he? Is he playing around something? Williams has a Bayou up.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's doing here.
I'm sure Notepad is involved. But other than that, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it'd just be interesting. Who knows what his win condition is here.
That's fair. Emrakul sounds pretty straightforward. He's going to open with the DT? Yeah, Jace to bounce Thalia does seem easier. But I mean, whatever. He gets 3 spells even if he doesn't bounce Thalia.
Well, he minuses himself a mana doing it this route.
I agree. But there's Emrakul.
Oh, it doesn't even matter. Okay. He didn't lose a mana there, so this is over.
Yeah, and Williams keeps it up.
That is one of the sweetest combos in Magic. I love Omniscience and Emrakul. What a deflating feeling when you're across the table from it.
I'm not even sure that was the best combo we saw in that game. Flash with Academy Rector is pretty sweet.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love this deck. It's a spicy one for sure.
Hats off to Steve. He's brought a couple of spicers.
He does have the balanced main deck, Randy. Wow. So that was an option for him. No, it's definitely, he had a lot of options there. Oh, Bajuka Bog. Combo. Yeah, that's a spicy tomato.
Wow, so Menendian did have a balance, and it's not what he went for.
Yeah,
He must have gone for the Demonic Tutor, because I forgot when we saw those Dig Through Time cards, Magic Online alphabetizes them. They were not in order. I mean, he couldn't have Mystical Tutored for Academy Rector, so I said that wrong. I suspect it was a Demonic Tutor. He just really needed to get access to the Rector, but then Dig Through Time found the Rector itself. Interesting. He did not go for the balance line, even though he could have.
Yeah.
I guess he felt like he had time to win the game, and he wasn't wrong. He did have time to win the game.
Yeah, in hindsight, that was a really good line, and who knows? That if Steve had to have gone and gotten a balance there, it would have hurt him significantly. I mean, he would have had to discard, 3 or 4 cards out of his hand. I'm not quite sure what the land ratios were, but I think Dave had more, but maybe 1 more at most.
Now, David's bringing in Rest in Peace here. That does beat Academy Rector, right? Since the Rector has to go to the graveyard from play, and I believe Rest in Peace means it never gets to the graveyard, so it doesn't trigger.
Yeah. It also shuts off Yogwill, dig through time. I'm not sure if he's running a treasure cruise. I don't think he is. So that's I'm not sure how good that is, to be honest with you, particularly with 4 show and tells in the deck.
Well, at some level, what is Williams going to do? Like, he's got plows and abrupt decays that he doesn't think do anything. Like, the plow is only relevant if Steve hardcasts a rector. Abrupt decay points at almost nothing, right? Based on what he saw, I think he's just trying to look for what can I do to actually disrupt this.
Yeah. I'm not sure what he pulled out of his deck to put them in, but what about Rex Sage, Randy? Is that just too slow from Dave's side to affect Omniscience and Bargain?
I would probably have it in my deck, especially like he hasn't seen this list, I'm sure, but you might be able to smell the existence of show and tell. Like if you show down a Reclamation Sage when they're showing down a Bargain, it's pretty good.
It's not as good as Revoker, but
no, it's true. It's better with the showdown and Omniscience because Bargain you can get the cards at instant speed as a response.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Good. It's really only versus Omniscience.
Well, Steve's hand is pretty darn solid. Now, if Thali would throw a kink in that on turn 1, which it doesn't have, but Dave's hand is pretty solid.
Guess what? How about turn 1 Thorn of Amethyst?
Seems pretty good.
Seems quite good. Now, suddenly that's a 2-mana Ancestral Recall, and Menendian has to pay 1 for Gitaxian Probe and hope he finds a second land. Yeah. He will see what he's up. He will see that he's got time, at least. He's up against Wasteland, Deathrite, Rest in Peace. No white mana yet.
Yeah. Of no good foresight by Steve to fetch a basic here. This game would be over if he had gotten greedy.
Fair.
And he really needs to find a land here. His next 2 cards.
True story.
You know, it's how about a little bit of a non-bow and Rest in Peace and Deathrite Shaman?
Gaddock Teague! Wow, that's good.
Yeah, you don't see him too often. You can't cast it right now, but it looks pretty good.
Play the Deathrite, leave up a Wasteland. Deathrite can probably get a land for Gaddock Teague before you play Rest in Peace, right?
Yeah, Rest in Peace doesn't need to come down right now.
Right.
But
man, Gaddock Teague, I guess you can still play a Rector since it's a creature spell. It doesn't stop the Rector trigger, and it doesn't stop the Emrakul. Still seems pretty good, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure how good
how much does it do?
Not much. It stops Jace from coming down. It's anything with X spells, X in it as well, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if he's running any Deluge or not, but yeah, my inclination is it doesn't do a lot in this match.
I mean, probably there's the land. Menendian does top deck the Flooded Strand.
But you got to give style points, even if it doesn't do much, because Gaddock Teague is just is awesome. So does he just, I guess, Ancestrals at the end of Dave's turn here, right?
I think so.
I don't think you want to ponder here.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Do we know how many basics Steve is running?
Does he have we do not have deck lists yet. Not sure.
Yeah, so that's all the more reason if he's only got the 1 basic, which is possible in a 3-color deck, that he certainly doesn't want to crack that fetch. I guess it doesn't really matter because if he doesn't have another basic, Dave's going to get it anyways, presuming he doesn't tap out. So who are you liking from this position here, Randy?
I can't tell yet. I think it depends whether Steve can find more mana. I mean, that shuts a 4-mana show and tell, right? If Steve gets to 4, he wins.
Yeah.
But he has to get to 4.
Yeah, I think this is contingent on Steve having a basic here to really solidify it, and Steve drawing into another land or two with this Ancestral and Ponder. I think he sets himself up really nicely because he's not really under any pressure. I mean, the long game favors Steve right now, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, Williams can slow him down with a Wasteland, slow him down with another Wasteland. Like, I don't know that Steve can get to 4 through those Wastelands. Like, he may have to slog his way through the Wastelands the hard way to get to 4.
Yeah, perhaps Fast Man is the way to go for him here, Lotus and Moxen.
That's what he'd rather draw. All right, meanwhile, here is Gaddock Teague. Shutting off not a ton of things, but it's more relevant than an Abrupt Decay would have been, right? That's basically what Dave took out for the rest of the piece in the Gaddock Teague, was he took out random removal spells that don't do much in the matchup. At least this guy is a little beater who might stop some things.
Yeah, I think Dave would just about rather have any creature in this position here, minus a Death Right. But yeah, you're right. It does put some pressure on him a little bit.
Yeah, it's better here than a
like how good would how good would a Thalia be here? Holy catfish, that would be game. That would be really tough for him to beat.
These are creature spells, of course, so the Thorn doesn't care. I guess Steve can play a 3-mana Mentor next turn, since the Thorn doesn't stop the Mentor. Whoa, did he just decline?
Ancestral.
Wow.
So he doesn't have any more basics, Randy. That is crazy. That's what that is. He doesn't have basics.
Don't you Ponder then?
Well, he's going to lose his... I guess... I basically don't... I think he basically is better ancestraling there and losing his land.
I agree.
Maybe. I don't know. Because I guess if he doesn't have another basic and he doesn't find any more fetches, he's in the exact same position he was.
Right.
So maybe he just needs to draw another land. I'm not sure. I would have ancestral there probably, but...
Crazy. I mean, I guess he's planning to top deck a land so that he can play the Mentor. He knows Dave doesn't have answers. He saw Dave's hand a couple turns ago, so he knows there was a second Wasteland. I guess I still cast Ancestral. Like, you're discarding.
Yeah, he discarded a Ponder.
Right. Yeah, I mean, your reasoning is correct. There's no basic to go get.
The funny thing is here, Randy, is even if that is his line to play a Mentor, what does that accomplish, given the state of his hand? Not much. I guess
he wants to save Ancestral and Brainstorm for after that, I guess.
But he's still in the same position. I don't know. I guess the cantrips do matter if he's got land to cast it, but like he does know that Dave has a deck that runs probably 3 or 4 Abrupt Decays in it. Like, I don't know. It seems counterintuitive not to be advancing your board state here somewhat by casting spells. I don't know.
I agree with you.
And he's discarding, of note too, he's discarding fuel for the Deathrite Shamans.
Fair point. And I wonder if Williams should just trade both Wastelands for that Flooded Strand. I guess he doesn't see Steve's hand, but he knows Steve failed to play a land.
Yeah.
That's probably wrong, to trade both Wastelands.
You see, if we knew that he didn't have, like, if he knew the composition of the hands, I actually do think it is right to take him off him. If he's got no more, if it's all non-basics in his deck, I would trade my 2 Wastelands at this point.
It's tough. Like, he gets to Ancestral in the middle. Like, you sort of force him into that whole Ancestral line.
That's true.
I mean, obviously, Dave doesn't see Steve's hand, but he did see Steve fail to play a land and then discard. So, all right.
There we
Looks
go.
like Menendian has decided he has to Ancestral. Non-basic land.
Yeah, so we nailed that one.
3 cards.
Lotus.
Oh,
Okay,
land, time walk. It's not bad.
So essentially, he's going to be minus 2 lands no matter what he does here, but at least the wastelands will be off the table.
Right. Yeah, it's got to be his line.
Yeah, Thorn doing some work here.
Indeed. Oh, another land. Steve's got 9 cards in his hand. The only one he can cast is a Brainstorm, so he's going to be discarding some more.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that was just what was going to happen here.
So he's going to Brainstorm end of turn here. I still think he's on the hunt for Mox and Lotus. Or do you just wait and untap next turn and go with your plan of casting that Mentor, Randy?
Wasn't my plan.
Well,
it's funny how
mention that as a line.
It's funny how Steve needs to be careful about what he discards here, huh? I mean, maybe you discard the Mentor. It's not food for death, right? And you're not going to win this game with Mentor. Like, next turn, he can cast a Time Walk for 3, get one of the lands wasted, untap, play a 3rd land. I don't know.
Yeah, he's quite precarious here.
I don't see how Mentor has time to do anything.
I agree.
I'm not sure Omniscience has time to do anything either, honestly.
I agree with that too. The problem is that in order for Mentor to do anything, he's going to have to expel cantrips to give himself a chance to win. And he's already at 10 life here, and there's 2 cantrips in the graveyard. So that's 4 damage right there as soon as he untaps. Plus 2 puts him to 4. 2 from the Gaddock Teague. So that's not going to work, the Mentor plan.
Right. I would discard Mentor. He discarded a Brainstorm already. Is he planning, like, is his show and tell? I guess the question is, does he want to show Omniscience or Grizzlebrand? I guess he's planning to show down. Okay, he discarded the Omniscience. So his plan is to show down the Grizzlebrand.
Interesting.
Wow, another.
Would you not have shown? Is show and telling Omniscience into play not better?
Well, the Thorn makes it a little tricky. Oh, the Thorn doesn't even apply to Grizzlebrand. It's right.
It's cast a 7/7.
I would have discarded Mentor and kept the Omniscience, I guess. You've talked me into that. You show the Omniscience, then you get to play the Grizzlebrand for free, plus have an Omniscience.
Yeah, and then you just Time Walk for free. And then the game's over.
Well, it's not Time Walk, you have to pay for the Thorn tax, right?
That's true.
But having Grizzlebrand blocker makes it likely you get to untap.
Randy, in fairness, you got to take it easy on me here. I'm not used to seeing these Thorn Amethysts on the table here anymore.
You're still playing more Thorn of Amethyst while it's restricted than I've played, I'm sure.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, you know, it's interesting. One of the cool things about this deck Steve's playing, the Flash Rector, is there's just so many lines you can take with it. It's a fine margin, but
yeah, there's no way Steve can get out of this. He's dead to the death rights. He couldn't outlast the Wastelands.
Yeah.
Gaddock Teague actually dealt a very relevant amount of damage, for the record.
Grizzly Bears are good.
He might have regretted not having an Abrupt Decay if Steve had top decked the land he wanted for the Mentor, or like the Mox to get Mentor down. I don't think Dave can remove a Mentor, but that's not the world we lived in. We lived in the world where Gaddock Teague just turned sideways and Steve ran out of life points.
Yeah. Well, that Thorn was the true winner of that match, that game. I think.
Man, these games have been amazing.
Oh, for sure. Super interactive. So what do you predict here for this one with Steve being on the play?
I mean, I like his chances on the play better. But I do think Dave's deck almost disrupted him out of game 1 and definitely disrupted him out of game 2.
Yeah.
Dave has to. The thing is, Dave on the draw, he has to draw a Mox, right? None of his red drops are disruptive. Maybe a Thoughtseize on turn 1 is disruptive enough, but he's so much better when he can play one of those Hate Bears on turn 1. Like it was a Thorn in game 2. In the first game, he played a Thalia on turn 1. If he doesn't draw fast mana, it's so hard for him to be disruptive enough fast enough.
Yeah, I agree. Wasteland's not going to disrupt Steve turn 1. It has to be either a Thalia or a Thorn. And Dave really needs to dodge Steve doing something broken on turn 1, which is definitely feasible with this deck.
Yeah.
For fast mana there, Steve just running all the Moxen and Lotus with a Mana Crypt? Is that what I'm seeing there?
Yeah, he's got a Sanity too.
No Mana Vault or anything like that.
Right. Yeah, just the normal 8. Or the best 8, however you want to look at it.
Well, let us see.
Yeah, 1 game. I know Rich Shea is on Team David Williams. Rich just wants Rich wants Dave to go 3-0, and then he doesn't need a lot more help, and he gets into that tiebreaker scrum at 5-4 for a playoff spot.
Yeah, I'd really like to see Dave get a win here. He been having a bit of a tough go.
I can agree with that, but I find it hard to root against. It's Flash Rector. How can you not?
That's true.
All right, so Menendian has a turn 1 mentor. That's interesting.
That's pretty friggin' sweet.
He's got no food for it, but still. I think it's turn 1 mentor into turn 2 Rector and like hope you can kill it somehow. Maybe it gets to block.
You want something cool here too is that currently Dave does not have a black mana to cast Thoughtseize, and if Steve gets to untap, he's going to have an Academy Rector, and almost assuredly Dave has sided out his STPs, and Dave literally can't beat attacking into an Academy Rector if that's the case, because I don't think STP does anything against this deck enough to warrant to keep it in my opinion. Right. But
what do you do with Williams' draw? Wasteland, Strip Mine, Dryad Arbor, Ramanop Excavator, but no fast mana and no black mana. It's turn 1.
This is 100% mulligan. This is 100% mulligan for me.
I think I mulligan it too. I can see it looks like he's keeping, and I don't think that's. I mean, I can see what he's thinking, right? You get the Excavator Wasteland lock. It just feels like on the draw, it's probably too slow. If it had black mana to cast the Thoughtseize on turn 1, then I'd like be a lot more inclined to make this keep.
Yeah, I think what we were talking about during sideboarding, I think Dave's really best chance to win this match is to have, you need to have something turn 1 of a Thorn variety. And if not turn 1, you need it turn 2. And he's got none of that.
Yeah, draws a Death Ray.
Yeah, Death Ray's pretty good, but he can't cast it right now. Not this turn, but next turn. Lotus. That's mentor food.
Yep. Also allows the Rector to come down this turn.
Yeah. You do that, yeah.
Yeah, Williams kept on the strength of 2 Wasteland effects and an Excavator, but Menendian had a couple Moxes and randomly the 1 Mentor, so I think Steve's going to win this one the old-fashioned way.
That's a good play by Steve, playing the Tomb, baiting him, Wasteland out of him. So he maintains the Underground Sea.
You play Lotus for Rector here, right?
100%.
Me too.
Get the game going here. Steve draws a cantrip, it's over, and Dave cannot no longer pressure him, and he has to use the STP if he has one on the Rector, which just leaves him open to it.
We'll ignore the fact that this is post-combat, and Menendian left a point of damage on the table.
Oh, did he do a point post-combat?
He did.
Style points.
Or something.
Yeah. Yeah, this is I think the writing's on the wall on this one for me.
Savannah off the top does let Dave start casting his colored spells, but Peak is amazing here. Wow.
Yes, it is.
Prowess trigger, cantrip.
Or any cantrip for that matter. This Peak is a Brian Kelly special.
True story. Man, this mentor card seems ridiculous. They should restrict it.
Holy catfish. Boy, do I not miss Mentor. What a great card. You know, it's funny because I know I played a little bit of Mentor back in the day for sure, but when you see this, it makes me wonder why I wasn't playing Mentor full time. Like, can you imagine having 4 Mentors in a deck? How good is that?
Look, I didn't pick up a workshop the whole time you could play 4 Mentors. Never did pick up a shop. To be fair, I had them in the sideboard of a Belcher deck, so technically I did play them, but
yeah, I remember that.
Never had a workshop in a main deck while you could play 4 Mentors.
Randy, once you play with workshops, it's hard to go back.
I will keep that in mind.
Just planting a seed for another VSL for you.
Noted. All right.
Yeah, this looks pretty painful here.
Yeah, he can't beat the board. Like, now all his disruption stuff is online, right? He could Thoughtseize or he can start casting things, but he's just going to die to the mentor and the random tokens, right? I guess he has, if he puts Steve on never triggering prowess, his creatures, Shaman can block, Excavator can block.
Yeah, Steve's got 5 mana, and unless Dave is running that 1 casting cost enchantment that gives all tokens -1/-1, it's over because STPs and abrupt decays aren't going to get him there.
All right, Williams goes for his Excavator. This is what he kept the draw on, hoping that he could just mana screw / color screw Steve.
Is it not over right here? Yogg-Will into Black Lotus into Peak into cantrip that he draws off the Peak, perhaps? I think that does it.
That was a pretty good top deck. Dave's got what, 1 blocker?
Yeah.
So I don't know that
he actually has to block. He has to block. Right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, he has to block.
Yeah, it's going to be 14 coming over. So Excavator is going to be on chump block duty, and I don't think Dave actually dies, but he's going to be low enough that the Alpha Strike kills him next turn.
Yeah.
Peak found a Rector.
Yeah, that he can cast it. How would Omniscience and Bargain be here for style points? 17 life left.
Still can't kill it. Yeah, Excavator has to chump the Mentor. 9 damage drops Dave to 4, and I don't see how Williams survives this next turn.
Balance?
Comball. It's not enough. Still not good enough.
That would have been pretty cool had that been a turn 1 play.
Yeah. Yeah, that card's very relevant in these combo matchups, or the Xerox matchups. Blue stew, whatever you want to call it. All right. Looks like Steve Menendian is going to maintain control of his own destiny. 6 wins is the magic number to guarantee a spot in the postseason, although there are still scenarios where 5 and 4 could be good enough. It's going to be hard to not get somebody to 6 wins, though, with Williams losing this one to Steve. Still possible, but it's getting harder.
Yeah. Oh, he just went straight to attacks. Yeah. I guess it doesn't matter.
Alpha Strike, drop sideways.
Well, no, he doesn't actually get him because he should have cast that Cabal Therapy because he can actually gain 2 life here and block. So Steve should have cast that therapy to win.
He doesn't believe in these pre-combat prowess triggers. That's not his thing.
Yeah, we're seeing a bit of a trend here tonight. Steve just dangling the carrot.
Yeah, and now he's realizes he actually messed this up. If he just cast Cabal Therapy pre-combat, then the prowess triggers would win the game, but without that.
You want the cool thing is here, Randy, is Steve's doing style points here because what he's going to do is he's going to cabal therapy and then he's going to sacrifice the rector to the therapy, which is the main reason you run it. And then he's going to go and get omniscience or whatever it is, bargain, just draw a ton of cards. God, that's just so fun.
All right.
Yeah.
Williams gains his 2 life. He's only taking 4. And Steve gets to continue playing with his food. Yeah, you only get the 1 flash with your Academy Rector, but Cabal Therapy, you get plenty of those. These post-combat prowess triggers are killing me. I'm sure Dave is rolling his eyes right now, too.
Oh, yes. Well, that was... that's going to be a hard one to sell to Dave. The old hold back the Cabal Therapy game over so I can...
I mean, I guess technically Steve did get Dave to tap his Deathrite Shaman, thus leaving Cabal Therapy safely in the graveyard, right? Deathrite can beat the whole Therapy Sack My Rector trick by eating the Therapy.
Yeah, I think it would have been the old VSL Williams -8 had he gone the other way, but they both work. None of them bode well for Dave. Okay, here we go. Put your seatbelt on.
All right, Cabal Therapy flashes back, sacrifices Academy Rector.
We just get bargain, yeah?
I guess, sure. Yeah, I don't know what
He's still got 7 mana here.
Yeah,
he hasn't played a land this turn 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, plus on whatever he draws, uninhibited.
Yep.
He's getting bargain. Yep.
So he won 1 game by rectoring for Omniscience. Now he's going to win this game by rectoring for Yawgmoth's Bargain. Not that he needed to, but hey, how often did he get the chance?
Oh no, he's going to get Omniscience. Can he resist? Can he get? He has the combo.
Can play another Rector, Therapy, sack it. You might draw your Omniscience, Steve. What are you doing?
You know, I think we need to give some credit here to Dave that this game is still going on.
True.
This is takes a special type of resilience to sit through this, but it's true showmanship.
Yeah, he knows he's beat, but he also knows Steve's doing some cool stuff.
Oh, this is just the best. I don't know what else you got queued up for tonight, Randy, but I'm pretty happy to have sat through this match.
Well, we get 2 more matches with each of these decks. So we'll start there. Meanwhile, the next match will be Bob Maher and Aaron Campbell, both of whom are on 4-2 records coming in, where a 2-1 from either of them clinches postseason. The winner of that match will be feeling pretty good. 1 match away from the playoffs, and with the possibility of sneaking into a tiebreaker, even if they go to. Yep, here's the other therapy. Man.
Oh, jeez.
Save some for the next couple of matches, Steve.
I've played this deck a moderate amount, and I can honestly say I've never had a Yawg Bargain and an Omniscience out at the same time.
It's How pretty awesome. Absurd.
Think through time for free? Anybody?
Sure. I'll look at 7 without paying life. Meanwhile, they're all throwing off prowess triggers and monks.
Oh. Steve just doesn't want this to end. Steve's going to peel a couple lands out of the 7 here just so we can keep drawing.
Williams is looking at his clock. Like 11 minutes?
Oh, that was a bad dig.
It wasn't very good, was it?
There's Emrakul. Okay. There's Emrakul.
Vampiric Tutor. Pay 1 life to draw the card with Yawgmoth's Bargain.
What a trifecta. Bargain, Omni, Mentor.
Oh, Time Walk! You had a much better Time Walk in your deck, Steve. What are you doing?
Oh,
That's the wrong time walk. Come on.
yeah, that was weak sauce.
Jimmy Power Gamer does not approve.
All right. Is he going to dig for another cantrip here or just finish it? I think he's got to show some mercy here.
We're in upkeep. Oh, Dave probably walked away. Funny. Dave's probably not at his computer, but has a stop set. Come back! Certainly nothing from Menendian to think about.
Well, Steve may be taking notes. This is definitely one of the ages here for sure. What a cool game that was. Like, really, he did a little bit of it all this game. Mentor, Bargain, Omni. He did the Rector, Cabal Therapy combo. Like, holy catfish. Is that ever scary?
I like how Williams scoops him up. We're done. He wanders back. He needs to hit F6 again. Fine. You got me. Menendian did everything. And that game was actually, I don't know. Dave's draw was pretty slow. He almost managed to stitch it together. If Menendian had bricked, like after he played the Mentor, he didn't really have food, but he basically never bricked, right? He drew a Lotus, then he drew a Peak, and, cantripped into enough spells. Top deck the Yawgmoth's Will in that last turn. So I actually think that game wasn't that far away. Would have only taken a couple of bricks, and Williams might have been able to disrupt him, but did not see the bricks. The Mentor would have been good enough, but we got to see the stylish victory via both Yawgmoth's Bargain and Omniscience instead.
Yeah, I was going to say the first two games were actually incredibly close.
Yeah.
That could have swung either way.
And that game was a great game. Man, we get 5 more games. How fun was this night going to be? Thanks for hanging out with us, Andy.
Yeah, thanks very much for having me, guys. And enjoy the rest of the evening. And I'll be hanging out and chat with the rest of everyone else.
Awesome. Stay tuned, guys. We will be right back with Bob Maher and Aaron Campbell.
Take it easy, guys.
Need the latest Magic the Gathering singles for Constructed? Casual cards for the kitchen table? Or sealed product for a draft night with your friends? CoolStuffInc.com has what you're looking for. With an extensive selection of singles, sealed, and supplies, free shipping on orders of $100 or more, a 25% buy list bonus, and our ever-popular customer rewards program, CoolStuffInc.com is a one-stop shop for all your Magic the Gathering needs.
Ixalan is available in stores. Brave the unknown by exploring the lush jungles of Ixalan. Discover a world filled with mighty dinosaurs, treasure-hunting pirates, graceful merfolk, and sinister vampires. Visit Ixalan.com to find out more.